On this week's episode of the WNP podcast, we reassess our coaching opinions and decide who will win the most tightly contested divisions in the NFL. Stay tuned. Episode 123 of the We're Not Professionals podcast. I'm your host, Mike Mitchelson, and joining me today, as always, my co-host, Chase Groshaw. Chase, how you doing?
I am doing swell. Thank you for asking. How are you?
I'm doing great. And before we start the show, I do have to say, my dad told me that if we get some merch, we need to have a picture of just you. And at the bottom, it says, I'm doing swell. What do you think?
I think that's great. I think
good merch?
I think that'd be a hot selling item.
It probably would be.
That would be unreal.
And then,
let's do it.
And then we'd have like the logo and everything. I'm not going to have my face on any shirts because I don't want to get too embarrassed. But, you know, you already have. Oh, no, Johnny already has
Johnny does.
A shirt with his face on it.
Yeah,
So,
that's an unreal.
That's a beauty.
Piece of wardrobe.
On today's episode of the We're Not Professionals podcast, going to be talking a bunch of stuff, you know, some news, doing our week predictions like always, but we are going to be taking a look back on some of our opinions on past coaches. We had some things to say about coaches a couple weeks ago, so I want to go back, see if we still agree with what we said earlier on in the season. And then it's been a really weird year in pretty much all sports right now, so that does not exclude the NFL. It's a weird year, and there's about 5 or 6 divisions that are really up for grabs right now, so we're going to be looking at those and telling you which team is going to win which division. But before we hop into that, Chase, we do have some quick news when it comes to college football. So we've got a rumor, and then we have a actual story that is being reported by the Detroit Free Press. What do we want to start with?
Let's start with the rumor and with the story.
So why don't you bring up the rumor because you were the one that found it, and then after I can go into the Free Press article.
Okay, so yeah, that rumor is that reportedly Lincoln Riley to LSU is happening at a $12.5 million per year type of deal. Don't know how long. That would make him the highest paid coach in college football, tied with the highest paid coach in football in general with Bill Belichick. That is a lot of money for a guy who I think needs to be a head coach very soon. I think he needs to be head coach next season. But $12.5 million. Oh, that's what you offer to a guy who just turned around a program and won 4 natties.
Yeah, I get that LSU, they're going after a very highly touted coach. Mel Tucker was in the round there, but with some news we're going to be talking about here in a second, it seems like that might be off the table. So maybe they're just going all in on Lincoln Riley. I don't know. Lincoln Riley, the coach over there for Oklahoma, does he go to LSU? Does he ditch Oklahoma with Oklahoma coming into the SEC very soon? I mean, for that money, I would. But
yeah, for that money, I would.
But it is a rumor right now. There's nothing official, so that'll be an interesting story to continue to look at. When we talk about Mel Tucker, the Detroit Free Press's David Jesse and Chris Solari are reporting that Michigan State and Mel Tucker are currently working on a 10-year, $95 million extension. That would make him, when we're not looking at Lincoln Riley, because again, that's just a rumor. When we're looking at this would make Mel Tucker the second highest paid coach in college football, only behind Nick Saban at $9.75 million. And then when it comes to the NFL, Mel Tucker would be 4th, only behind Bill Belichick at $12.5, Pete Carroll at 11, and Sean Payton at 9.8. So
Pete Carroll makes $11 million a year.
He does. Oh. So Mel Tucker, 9.5 average. That's what Michigan State needs to do if they want to keep him around.
And, you know, he is coaching candidate number 1 for this upcoming offseason, just because of what he's done already in 2 years at Michigan State, plus his previous coaching history. So Michigan State does need to keep him around, offer him that money, let him continue to go back to being, you know, a true contender like they were so many years ago. If they can be an elite team in college football, that'd be fun. That'd be awesome. It'd be great for Mel Tucker. He could make the jump, one day to the NFL if he wanted to at that point. But, first let's let him win a natty or two with Michigan State.
Absolutely. I agree 100%. I think that if this happens, and again, they're reporting that they're in the works, so it has not happened yet. But if Michigan State and Mel Tucker get this deal done, Michigan State needs to be the Georgia to Ohio State's Alabama. We know that Ohio State rules the Big Ten, and it's very likely that they continue to rule the Big Ten. But with this deal, if it goes through, Mel Tucker needs to make sure that Michigan State is that number 2. We're not looking at, Michigan is the next man up. Penn State's the next man up. Wisconsin's the next man up. It has to be Michigan State if he's getting paid this much money.
Yeah, it for sure does. And, so far, things are looking good. The team has played, unexpectedly well. I know it's on the back of Kenneth Walker, but at the end of the day, it's still a recruit that you got the transfer from a school to come to you. The recruiting class is looking strong. Some good names are coming in. So if that continues, they can, land a couple more 5 stars, or a couple 5 stars, really, I should say, in general. Get a legit quarterback prospect, keep building up a solid defense. Like the team could do it.
And Michigan State is playing Ohio State this weekend. It's going to be a big game because if Michigan State wins this one, then it's likely they beat Penn State the week after. And if that's the case, they buy their way into the Big Ten championship, and winning that would put them into the playoffs. So they're in complete control of their destiny right now. I'm not too confident about the game against Ohio State, especially because it's down in Columbus. But if they do win this, if they do make the playoffs, if Mel Tucker does get this extension, Michigan State is on the hot track to stealing recruits from Ohio State, stealing recruits from Michigan, Wisconsin, Penn State. They're ready to take over the Big Ten. And I know that was a lot of ifs, but if it does happen, I mean, they're on the hot track.
It could get there. It's not like it's going to get there, but it definitely could get there.
And it's not like it's a 0% chance. Like, there's a legitimate opportunity here for Michigan State to do something big. But that's going to be it for the college football talk. We thought we'd just bring that up because that's kind of big news. Coaches getting huge contracts potentially. So thought we'd talk about that. Next up, Hard Knocks. That comes out tonight as we're recording on Wednesday. So if you're watching on Thursday or later, the first episode of Hard Knocks will already be out. This is the first time ever that Hard Knocks is doing in-season episodes. It's with the Indianapolis Colts. Any interest?
Maybe. Like, this Cowboys Hard Knocks was the first one I didn't watch fully through in probably 6 or 7 Hard Knocks.
Mm-hmm.
I watched one episode and never even bothered to go to another one. Like, it just had no draw. So I don't know how I feel about a regular season thing. The preseason is interesting because it's different dynamics. You got some, random guys that are just like bubble guys that are random personalities that are fun to follow along and root for to make the team. Where now you're not really rooting for a team, but you're watching a team go through their grind. They're in the middle of the season. Guys are, getting hurt. Things are doing okay. Things are not doing okay. Blah blah blah. I don't know. I'll have to check it out at some point. I don't know if I'll necessarily just be watching it upon release.
Yeah, I feel like the past 3 years, Hard Knocks for me has just not been there. I'm always excited for Hard Knocks because it's something that you can always look forward to. You're lacking football content at the time, so you get some finally. But the past 2-3 years have been incredibly boring. Like, the Browns were good. I thought the Bucks had a decent one, but these past couple I've just been
The LA one was fine. Last year. I think it would have been better if they would have been able to focus on just one team because it looked like there was some legit personality on both sides, but you had to keep flip-flopping and stuff. So it kind of drew a little bit away from it. But still, I didn't think it was completely horrible, whereas the Cowboys one was just boring.
The LA one, I was super excited to see the Rams, and then I just ended up enjoying the Chargers way more.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. I'm going to watch, but it's not going to be one where I'll say it's on a tight leash.
Mm-hmm.
I want to watch it, see what it's all about, but if it's not catching my fancy early on, then I got to dip. I know our buddy Chris, big Colts fan. I'm sure he's going to be watching all the way through, but me, it's kind of iffy. Before we get on to our next topic, I'm getting a little dry mouth, so I figured I'd bust open the old Michelob Seltzer. It's spicy,
not a sponsor.
Spicy pineapple.
Gross.
Which, you were super excited when you first heard that flavor was a thing.
No, it sounds horrible.
It's pretty good.
Still not a sponsor. We can say it's good when they're a sponsor.
Still not a sponsor.
Yeah, that's how it tastes. It tastes like they're not paying us yet.
That's a good point. I like that. Maybe I should just hide it behind my. There we go. Now anyone who's watching the video won't be able to know what it is.
Yeah, no, they definitely have no idea now.
Even though I just said it out loud. No, they don't know. All right, let's now move on to talking about the two most poverty franchises in the league, the Browns and the Lions. Well, let's start with the Browns. We got Baker Mayfield. He came out earlier in an interview saying this is probably the most beat up I've ever been in my career. That's obviously because he's doing a lot of commercials, and that takes a toll on him. But currently, he's battling a knee and foot injury as well as a torn labrum. He said he is absolutely going to play versus Detroit this weekend. Is that a route to Detroit getting their first win?
No.
With a beaten down Baker?
No.
Okay.
It was known already that he was kind of playing beat up this year, and he's just saying, it's more than we kind of knew. It really is not going to matter. The Browns might rush for 300 yards. I'm going to be honest. I don't think this is a very close game for Detroit. I think they're going to get worked. No matter how healthy Baker is or isn't, I have zero faith anymore.
Oh, completely ready to throw it out the window. Even though you're coming off the best weekend for the Lions since last year, November, I think it was like 26th or something. Late November was the last time the Lions won. You guys are now coming off the best weekend you guys have had since that win.
I would say the bye week was better.
Oh.
To be honest.
You'd rather have a bye than tie with the Steelers?
Yeah. Ties are like kissing your sister, and I don't have a sister.
So you can't imagine it.
So I don't even want to have to imagine it.
I think it's a positive for the Lions not losing. Now there's no possibility of going 0-17.
If they go 0-16-1, I'd rather them just go 0-17, to be honest.
I disagree.
Win a game or lose them all. Why tie? I despise ties so much. I'd rather the Lions go 0-17 than go 0-12-5. Legitimately.
0-12-5.
Imagine if that were to happen.
That would be something, that's for sure. So now you are just completely out, no faith whatsoever that they win a game from now on? Or do you think
I'm not picking them to win any games this year.
No, picking, sure, is different, but do you think there's a possibility that they can actually win a game?
Yeah, it's never impossible in the NFL, but doesn't mean I ever truly think it's going to happen. Let's be real here. They suck. Have you seen Jared Goff play football? Holy shit.
He might not play this week. We got
okay, David Blau. You ever seen David Blau play football? Oh.
Was he the one that played pretty well on Thanksgiving the one year?
Yeah.
So there you
okay,
go.
Jared Goff's played well before in his career.
Has he?
Yeah, twice.
All right, let's head over to a little coaching update. What was it? Week 2, week 3, we brought up coaching. You were a big fan of Matt Nagy. You think that's still the case, or?
I think that guy is the worst.
I think it's pretty obvious that we still, and everyone listening, hopefully, and everyone just around the world, except for the Bears front office, knows Matt Nagy is the number one candidate for the hot seat. Get him out of there. He's trash. Let's talk about some other guys that we potentially discussed being on the hot seat. We'll start off with your number one hatred this season, Urban Meyer. Where's he at in your opinion now? There's been some change when it came to the Jaguars. They're actually winning some games now. They're competitive. What do you think about Urban Meyer overall?
I still don't think he's a good head coach for the NFL. I really don't. I would still want him out. You kind of can't at this point. He's really grinded it out, if you get what I mean. And the team has done a little bit better, and they got a sneaky win against the Bills, but it wasn't because they played unreal. It's just because the Bills just couldn't make anything happen. It was neither team really played that great in that game. It was just a weird football game. I don't think the Jags have really had enough moments of shine or spark, if they've really had any, to really to be offered. I think things just keep going in the wrong direction if Urban's there.
You know who did have a good game? Josh Allen.
Josh Allen had a great game.
Mm-hmm. And then Josh Allen had a so-so game.
You know, odds are every week Josh Allen has a good week.
That's probably fair.
Odds are.
Yeah.
Like, what are the odds that double Josh Allen has bad weeks?
And odds are that Josh Allen, who went 7th overall, has a good week.
I'd say those odds are quite high.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, right now, the number's more than 1, and the NFL's 100% on Josh Allen's going 7th overall. So if you want your kid to go 7th overall, name him Josh Allen. That's the moral of the story.
Mm-hmm. Doesn't matter what position he plays.
Nope.
Doesn't matter what school he goes to.
Nope.
He's going 7th overall.
Yep. Punter, kicker, and returner. That's the guy.
That'd be a deal.
That'd be a player right there.
That'd be a deal. That'd be a steal.
Yeah.
Like that's a top 3 potential, position matchup.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
All right. More coaches here. Brian Flores, a guy that we talked about how there was some rumors that, hey, he's kind of losing the locker room a little bit. The team wasn't looking very good, but we were like, come on, it's Brian Flores. Still love the guy. Currently, the Dolphins are sitting 3-7, coming off of a big upset on Thursday night against the Ravens. What are we thinking about Brian Flores?
It's looked better, but I fear that it might be too little too late because it's looked bad for, the first 7 games of the season, and the last 3 things have been figuring out a little bit. But I think the front office, the ownership group with the Dolphins expects this team to be competitive right now. They think that Tua in year 2 with the weapons around him should be enough for the team to see the playoffs. Plus, that defense should be good, and it just isn't really the case. I don't know if I want to blame Brian Flores for that, but he definitely has his hand in the reason that they are failing. He's someone that is worthy of, like if he got fired, I wouldn't be surprised just based on the way things have gone. But if he keeps his job, I also wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I mean, coaches are responsible for how the players are playing, and the defense has underwhelmed this year. Just flat out, they have underwhelmed this year. They've had a decent little stretch recently, but they've underwhelmed compared to their last 2 or last season, and then even the season before. The defense showed some improvement. He showed that flash. The offense has been terrible. So the Miami Dolphins need to find either a good offensive coordinator that can really help Brian Flores on that end, or something needs to happen because the offense is terrible. The defense has underwhelmed. Right now, I am no longer Brian Flores as a top 5 coach. Coming into this year, I thought that because he just did tremendous things with one of the worst rosters on paper I've ever seen. And then the following year, another roster that really should not have been competitive, yet they were 1 game out of the playoffs. So I thought very highly of them this year. I'm really low on them, and it's really unfortunate. But
yeah, it is because it was warranted to feel highly on them at first, but now it's warranted to feel low on them.
Mm-hmm. Zach Taylor.
Still dog water. He's not the reason they're winning games. There's a reason the Bengals have dropped a couple here and are looking a little disappointing because they have a horrible head coach. Do you disagree?
I'm so conflicted with Zach Taylor because there are times, like against the Packers and the Bears, where I'm just thinking, dude, what the hell are you doing? Why are you being so conservative? Why aren't you releasing this offense? This offense has so much potential. What are you doing? But then there's games like the Ravens where he literally does not make a bad play call whatsoever. He goes in to Baltimore and beats John Harbaugh, who is arguably a top 5 coach in the league right now. So he flat out out-coached Harbaugh. So there are huge highs, but then there's a lot of very mediocre to low type of games. And it's just so frustrating because if he could find that common place, if he wasn't so inconsistent, I could make a very easy decision on what I think about him. But because there's so much wish-wash, I'm just like, I want to see more. But at the same time, we've only got Joe Burrow for 3 more years under the rookie contract. How much time do we have to see more?
That's if they pick up the 5th-year option. He's kind of bad. They might not.
That's true.
But
he's got a lot of turnovers this year.
Yeah. I would love to hear a story come out that actually those games where the offense looked really good, Burrow was actually just checking out of every play call and calling his own plays. Like, I would love to see something like that because just confirm my beliefs, because I really do believe that Baker's making. Oh my Lord, I keep calling him Baker. They're both so similar in a lead. I can't help it.
What?
That Burrow is actually just checking out of those situations and is he's the reason that the offense is doing things the right way. I don't know like who you go out and hire. There's no coaching candidate that I like love as of the way things stand right now going into this offseason. So I really don't know who you would hire. But if they could find someone that they really feel could work with Burrow the right way, maybe just bring Joe Brady back in some fashion. I know, he's in Carolina, but if they could bring him in some way, just even as an OC, just like let Zach Taylor, like I'm very firm in the belief nowadays, especially that head coaches just need to like do head coach duties, don't play call anything. Let your coordinators do that. So bring in like a legitimate offensive, coordinator, and just let the offense do its thing. I think the team is a lot different.
Also, I think the head coach should have nothing to do whatsoever when it comes to like general managing and player personnel, because it just blows up in their face so many times.
There's one guy who can do it really well. It's Bill Belichick. Yep. Head coaches, especially nowadays, they need to be able to day managers, I guess is the word I want to use. So like a GM role that's an overview, of the future and what you need to do to continue to succeed. Whereas a coach needs to worry about let's succeed right now. And you just need to be able to manage the voices in the locker room, manage the game situations, make the right calls, say to kick it here, punt it here, fake it here, go for it here, blah, blah, blah. That's what the head coach needs to do. The coach needs to be able to keep guys, in line together. And that's what, Dan Campbell's trying to do in Detroit. Things are obviously not going great because it's a horrible roster, but that's why I'm excited to see what can happen if they can build a decent roster, because I think he's doing it the right way. And, if more teams started following that suit, I think we would see some better results, just because, like, why have an offensive coordinator if he's not going to call plays? Because at that point, their role is so limited. You're just paying this guy borderline millions of dollars to do kind of nothing.
And there are 3 offensive coordinators right now that if Zach Taylor were to get fired, those would be my top 3 candidates for this job. Joe Brady, obviously one of the top guys. The OC over in Buffalo, I think his name's Dabo, Brian Dabo or something.
Yeah.
And then Byron Leftwich.
Dabble.
Yeah, Dabble.
Yeah.
And then Byron Leftwich with Tampa, their offensive coordinator. So.
Still the fakest name I've ever heard.
Either way, I think all those 3 guys have really shown some nice stuff. So I'd like to, if Zach Taylor isn't here anymore, that would be the guy. Those would be the guys I'd go after.
You definitely need an offensive guy who's willing to let his OC do the job, though. Like someone who is a lot more willing to let the team be creative and risk taking an offense. If you're going with someone who's minded minded one way or another, it really seemed like defensive minded coaches just kind of need to step aside.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Let's go one more coach here for you. This is an interesting one because when I'm looking overall at the NFL community, or at least on Twitter, a lot of people are big fans of this guy. But he's currently sitting at 3-6.
Fire him.
Offense hasn't been great.
Fire him.
They are negative when it comes to their net points.
Fire him.
We're going Joe Judge.
Oh, they're going Kyle Shanahan. No. Fire him too.
Firing Joe Judge? Well, Kyle Shanahan's 4-5.
Oh, and I thought they were 3-6.
And they just beat Sean McVay and the Rams.
I know that was a job saving win right there. But I really don't know about Joe Judge. I think you should probably keep him around for another year. Because that offense still is not very good, and like I really don't know with Daniel Jones, because I still think sometimes he can do the things the right way, but the other times it's just so horrendous and he can't. So like you want to keep relying on that guy. You spent a 6th overall pick on him, but at some point you got to cut bait. I would say probably give him another year, keep Joe Judge around another year, see what can happen. Tool up heavily this offseason and the offensive side. If you can add a legitimate receiver that can pair with Galladay, Tony, and then a rookie, just let Sterling Shepard go on and do his own thing, get some better tight end play, get some better offensive line play, and it should be a playoff team at that point. And if they're not a playoff team, then you can move on.
You know who Daniel Jones is?
Who's Daniel Jones?
Marcus Mariota.
Yeah.
Daniel Jones going to be coming into this is second year or third year? Third year.
He was 2018 pick.
So it's 2019 with the Kyler.
Yeah, 2019.
So this is his third year. Still a lot of question marks, obviously. Marcus Mariota was at the same point, but Marcus Mariota really fell off. I think it was his fourth or fifth year. And I would not be shocked if I saw the same with Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
He's got the weapons around him. He's had some good games, and then he's had some poor games. The offensive line is a point to look at to address in the offseason and everything. But when it comes to wide receivers, he's got a lot of players. When it comes to the running back position, if Saquon can be healthy, then he's got a great guy there. I'm not a big fan of Daniel Jones, and I never really bought into the hype of Joe Judge. Do I think he should be fired? Maybe not, but do I think people should continue to talk about him like he's a top 12 coach, top 15 coach? Absolutely not. I think we need to see a lot more out of the Giants because that is supposed to be the team out of New York. That's supposed to be the Yankees of the NFL, and it is absolutely not, and it's nowhere close.
Yeah, and I'm not I'm in the same boat pretty much where you are with Judge. Where he shouldn't be fired. He also should be heralded as some great coach, but really, you want to see a quarterback be able to succeed in spite of having, talent or lack of talent around him because the team has been very injured. Kadarius Toney and Kenny Galladay have been out together. Sterling Sharp has missed some time. Evan Ingram, just as Evan Ingram. And Saquon, of course, he's played, 4 games this year? If that. It sucks. You want to give a guy a benefit of the doubt, but at the end of the day, it's the NFL and you got to win. And you can't just... there's injuries this year. Oh, this happened this year. All of a sudden, you're 9 years in, and it's just the same product over and over again. You can't let that happen, which is why I've mentioned Kyle Shanahan, because, he said he had the one playoff year, and they went to the Super Bowl, but other than that, sure, things have happened. Sure, there's been injuries or this, that, whatever. But at the end of the day, the job is to win regardless of who you have on hand. And especially when you're coming into a team like that, and you already take them that far, when you see that regression, it's kind of worrisome, So... We haven't seen the regression, but we also haven't seen the progression in New York. So maybe, you could really go either way is what I'm trying to say.
And with that being said, I know I said that Joe Judge would be the last one, but let's go over to the NFC West. We heard your opinions on Kyle Shanahan. What about Pete Carroll? He's currently sitting at 3-6. He's been without Russell Wilson for, I think it was 3 weeks. Russ comes back, and they got not absolutely smoked, I shouldn't say, but they got shut out by the Green Bay defense. What do we think about Pete Carroll? Is he a guy that should be staying around, or?
You very politely go into his office at the end of the season, say, or 3 weeks before the season ends, be like, Pete, you're in your 70s. It's better if you just retire. Let's not fire you. Let's let you retire, go on your own terms, and we'll call it quits. And then he says no. Then you just fire him on the spot anyway.
And then you have $11 million free.
Yeah.
For other coaches.
Yeah, and if he retires, great, because then that's on him and the money's not over. If you fire him, you still got to pay him at least some of that contract. So if you can get him to retire, then great. He's really not worth firing. He just kind of isn't. Even though I think we've seen everything we're gonna get out of him and his teams. I think it is time for a change. He's still just done enough where you can't really just fire him quite yet. He would need another season like this.
So it's based off merit, is what you're thinking.
Yeah.
All right, let's now hop off.
Real quick, fire Mike McCarthy in Dallas, too. That guy's trash.
Wow.
That is brutal. Just promote Kellen Moore already.
I thought you wanted him on Detroit.
Well, he's not going to be coming to Detroit. He's going to be a head coach before that Dan Campbell possibly gets fired.
I did see, who was it? Tom Pelissero, maybe? It was either him or Dan Graziano. I'm not exactly sure, but one of them put out an article this morning about the top head coaching candidates. Kellen Moore was in that top 5. So
yeah, he should be. That offense has been fantastic, and it's very proven that it's him and not the head coach at this point.
Can you guess the number 1? We talked about him already.
We did talk about him already, so I would have to go with Dabble.
Joe Brady.
Maybe.
He was the number 1.
Maybe. Too bad that Carolina Panthers offense looked dog water.
Lincoln Riley was on there as well, so maybe a team goes, maybe he takes the LSU job for 12.5, and then an NFL team goes, we want you up here for 12.6. He's like, you know what? Down.
That'd be awesome.
He pulls a cliff.
That'd be funny. I know my brother's friend Sean, he wanted Lincoln Riley as the Lions head coach going into last offseason before they went and hired Dan Campbell. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see him make the NFL jump one day. But I mean, if you're getting offered that LSU deal, you got to take it.
Yeah, I like Lincoln Riley. I would have loved for him to be the Bengals coach. Kind of a QB whisperer. And I did get the question. I'd like to ask you this, and it's just going to be really quick. The question was, do you take a look at the coach with Caleb Williams and Spencer Rattler both struggling this year? Caleb Williams eventually gets benched by Lincoln Riley in favor of Spencer Rattler, which was crazy because just 3 weeks prior, it was the opposite. So do you blame Lincoln Riley for that?
No. I blame Spencer Rattler being a little bit overhyped by a lot of people. You know, I thought he was going to be a better quarterback than he was, and like that's just a reality. And in a quarterback class that I didn't love, I thought that he was going to be able to just take the job as take the spot as the number one guy, and he failed miserably. His attitude is horrible. He's not a true leader. You can't be like that in the NFL. So his time is officially done as an NFL prospect. And Caleb Williams, you know, it's just a young guy.
Yeah.
Like he's gonna have issues. He's not gonna go out there and just light up the world as a young guy. It's very rare that type of thing happens. So it's not a big deal. He probably wasn't really ready to start. He was probably mostly just off to a hot start. And now he's coming back down to reality. So no, I don't blame him. It's just kind of the situation that they're in right now. He's not like killing these quarterbacks or anything.
And my answer was, how can we blame Lincoln Riley when the past 3 quarterbacks he had all went to the Heisman finalists, and 2 of them were actually Heisman winners?
Yeah.
So how do we blame the QB guru who got 3 different quarterbacks in the Heisman race for some struggles now? Like, I don't think we can. So
yeah, and they're now all legit NFL quarterbacks right now too. Well, they're all starting NFL quarterbacks right now too.
There you go.
That's what I really meant to say.
I was gonna say one of them could be starting in fantasy, but I don't know if you want him starting in.
He's so bad as a thrower, dude. I always thought he was a bad thrower, and people were like, no, he's better than you think. I'm like, no, he's bad.
Why are you so mean about Kyler?
Because he's short.
All right, let's now go to our final segment before predictions, and that is looking at the divisions. I'm going to be telling you who we think is going to win the division. Weird year in sports. I mean, the Tennessee Titans, they lose to the Jets, and now they're the best team in the AFC. The Bills lose to the Jags. The Bengals absolutely blow out the Ravens, and then lose to the Jets. The Ravens, they lose to the Dolphins. Like, such a weird year.
Did you see that TikTok about did I sent it to you, or did you see it about the conspiracy that the Chargers are going to lose to the Texans?
No.
So all these top teams have lost to, so like, you know, the Jets getting a win, the Jags getting a win, like all these top teams have lost to absolutely horrible teams, then went on to have big like runs of success following. So this guy was predicting that the Chargers are going to lose to the Texans and just go on a run afterwards.
Interesting.
So I think it's like week 13.
Yeah, I was going to say it's not this week, but
go hammer the Texans. Like they're going to be plus like 400. You go put $20 on them. Go make some money.
All right. Who knows? But with all that being said, there are 5 divisions that are really up for grabs. You could say 6 if you want to add in the AFC South, but the Tennessee Titans have a pretty sizable lead, even though the Colts have been doing better. The Titans are kind of there. So let's start with the AFC East, why don't we? The Buffalo Bills, the easy favorite coming into the year. Right now, it's a 2-man race between them and the Patriots. The Patriots on a 4-game win streak, while the Bills struggled recently, including losing to the Jags.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. The Bills are winning that division, dude. Like the Patriots are playing well, and I guess you can say it's not impossible that like they could do it, but like the Bills are winning that division.
I gotta agree. I'm a big Patriots guy, not a big Patriots guy.
Huge Patriots guy. This guy's got Bill Belichick fat heads in his room. He sleeps with his Tom Brady in a Pats jersey.
Okay,
although he cries every night because he's gone.
I'm not Davey.
That's fair.
But I did have the Patriots in the top 10 last week. You didn't. You're a hater.
Dog water.
You're a hater. You had the Browns in there, and then predicted the Browns would be the Patriots. I was the complete opposite. And,
aren't you just the bee's knees?
You know how it panned out. But I'm gonna have to agree. Let's go to the Bills. Let's pass the AFC North. Let's forget about them until the end. It can be the big finale. AFC West. Currently, you have the Chiefs in first. 3 weeks ago, they were in last. They are 6-4. The Chargers 5-4. The Raiders 5-4, and the Broncos 5-5.
2-5 since our hot start.
This race is wide open, though.
Yeah.
Like, any team could win it. Who's taking it?
Like I told you beginning of the year, the Chiefs are still going to find a way to win double-digit games, go to the playoffs. Like, they're winning in this division. Chargers are finishing second. Raiders finishing third. But this could be the new division that sends 3 teams to the playoffs all of a sudden. Like, not impossible, really. Like, at this rate, like, you know, the Rams are falling apart. They're going 7-10 this year. So, like, you're only getting one team. That's the wrong division anyway. That's wrong. So that's the NFC. Yeah. But regardless, this could be the division that sends 3 just for the hell of it.
You think that they could get 3 over the likes of the AFC North getting 3?
It's not impossible. Like they got the AFC North, you know, like they're a bunch of dog water trash cans, and right. the AFC West is a bunch of great successful teams.
You know, I could be wrong here, and you can tell me I'm wrong.
You're wrong.
It seemed like I think it was 2 weeks ago, maybe it was just last week when we were doing our top 10. But it really felt to me that you were a bigger fan of the Chargers over the Chiefs. Now you're saying the Chiefs are going to take the division. Why is that?
It's looking better finally. Like it wasn't looking great in the last 2 weeks. It's starting to look a lot better, and the Chargers have brought up some more worries last couple of weeks. So it just believing in Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid more than believing in Justin Herbert and Brandon Staley at the moment. You know, they're still both very young into their careers.
I'm going the Chiefs to win this one as well. That's why they're in my top 10 last week, and the Chargers weren't.
It could have went either way. Kick rocks.
All right, let's go to the NFC South. This is one
we're just hopping around here.
Well, I figured let's leave the AFC North for last, and then those are the only AFC divisions that are actually in play. Unless you want to talk about the Titans and the Colts.
The Jags are going to win this division, man. Yeah, we're good.
All right. NFC South. Tampa 6-3. The New Orleans Saints 5-4. Carolina Panthers 5-5. Sleeper. Atlanta Falcons 4-5.
No.
Oh.
They're not waking up.
Oh, okay.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers by like 3 or 4 wins.
Really?
Yeah.
The Saints do have Trevor Siemian.
Oh, I forgot about that. I did forget about that. And the Falcons are, including Julio, missing 4 of their top 5 offensive pieces, like from last year and this year combined. So they're a legit contender. Matt Ryan has looked, one of the worst he's had in the NFL. So yeah, they're legit contenders right now.
Bucks are 2 losses in a row.
Whippity dong. I don't know. Good for them. They're gonna go out and still go 13-4.
Every team in that division is currently on a losing streak, aside from the newly led Carolina Panthers. Cam Newton taking over.
Cam Newton is winning MVP this year. What can I say?
Okay. All right, we get it. You like the Bucks. All right, NFC West, Arizona 8-2, LA.
You also like the Bucks.
3.
You can say that.
Do I?
Yes.
I've got three of their weapons in fantasy, so I guess.
All right, move on.
NFC West.
I mean, I still believe in the Rams. Probably the most of any NFL team this year. Maybe the Bills are our team that I want to consider up there too, though they're a little disappointing. But Rams are still probably the team I have the most faith in. I just think this last week was just a hiccup, and they'll be fine. Cardinals are slowing down a little bit. They've just got 2 losses the last 3 games is what it is. I would say that the Rams are going to be the team I picked to win this. I could see it being the Cardinals. It's not going to be the Niners. It's not going to be the Seahawks.
Kyler's struggling with injuries right now, out for the past 2 games. Likely he plays this week, but not a guarantee at this moment. If for some reason he plays and re-aggravates it this week, that could be a really tough omen for the Cardinals. But I think I'm going to stick with them for right now because Cliff, best coach in the league right now, you're a big fan of him. You think he should have got a big contract extension in the middle of the season.
Yeah. Granted, they've done it a much better looking way, but it is almost similar to the Steelers last year where you get this hot start doing well, then things start going a little bit poorly, and they never started going better again. You hope that isn't the case with the Cardinals, but so far since they started going poorly, we haven't really seen them get better yet, so we'll see.
I'm not too worried about it. The Cardinals have actually beat competent teams, unlike the Steelers, and then they've actually won big over teams too, which the Steelers, yuck. The other NFC teams the other NFC divisions we didn't mention: Green Bay Packers, they are currently 4 games ahead of the Vikings.
Yeah, theirs.
That's obvious.
Why even bother?
And then the Cowboys, they're 3 games ahead of the Eagles.
Also, there is why even bother.
So we will round back to the AFC North. This one, another division that's wide open right now. The Ravens 6-3, Steelers 5-3-1, Bengals 5-4, and the Browns at 5-5. Who's taking the division?
At this point, you got to say the Ravens.
I agree.
Like, Lamar's looking good. The defense is playing well. The offense is working. Rashad Bateman is...
Except for against the Dolphins.
That is fair, but the Dolphins are everyone's kryptonite, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not everyone's. But anyway, the Dolphins, or the Ravens, excuse me, are just... They're looking a little more complete than I expected them to, and Lamar's playing great, as I mentioned. Rashad Bateman is elite, and very obviously elite. Very obviously their best receiving option, and he just needs to start getting those targets more, and I think he will. But everything's just starting to go right for the Ravens and start clicking. The Steelers are the fakest 5-3-1 team I've ever seen in my life. That will not continue. They are going to finish last in this division.
I don't know who finishes second. I feel like all 3 teams, aside from the Ravens, are really... I mean, the Ravens lost to the Dolphins, but like they've been very consistent, very good. The other 3 teams, they've all like struggled pretty heavily recently. So I don't know who finishes second.
Well, looking at the Bengals schedule, Raiders, Steelers, Chargers, Niners, Broncos, Ravens, Chiefs, and Browns.
Sounds like wins in every single game there.
Not going to be easy.
No.
But I think they could beat the Raiders this week. It's like a possibility. It's on the table. I think it's a possibility against the Chargers at home. It's not going to be easy. 49ers is a possibility. Broncos is a possibility. Right there, that puts them at 9 wins on the year. All you got to do is find one more.
Yep. All right, well, let's go over to our weekly predictions. It's a good week of football. I'm excited for this week of football. I kind of wish that there were a couple of games that were actually primetime that, you know, the ones right now that are sitting in that spot.
Thursday night's going to be a nightmare for the Falcons.
Well, Monday night is Tampa versus the Giants in Tampa.
Why was that scheduled?
Yeah, and then you have, like, Dallas versus Kansas City as a 4 o'clock game.
What's the significance of that game?
Nothing.
Like what? Why? Oh.
The NFL does not know how to schedule games. Like,
I know it's a hard thing to do, creating an NFL schedule. Like, I watched a video about it, and that shit looks crazy. They come up with millions of schedules, like, per year, literally. So it looks like it sucks. But like, I once you get this done, just put this game on Monday night instead of the other one. You know.
You can tell me I'm wrong, but I feel like Monday Night Football's games have been worse than Thursday nights this year.
The last couple weeks, maybe, first 5-6 weeks, all primetime games were awesome, and they've kind of slowed down a little bit.
Like week 9 was Chicago at Pittsburgh, when you could have had like Green Bay versus Kansas City or Cleveland, Cincinnati. Like, there were some good games. They went Chicago, Pittsburgh.
Cleveland, Cincinnati wasn't a good game.
After the fact, obviously. New York Giants versus the Chiefs in week 8.
Yeah.
Who wants to watch that? So
it's literally just finding ways to get like Mahomes and Brady in primetime is all it is.
Yeah. So whatever. Let's start off with Thursday night's game. This is New England at Atlanta. New England is 7-point favorite.
There's a good reason that they're a 7-point favorite. They're going to win this game by 10.
I agree. New Orleans at Philly. Philly is a 1.5-point favorite.
Yeah, I might not watch this game. This sounds boring.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I got to go Philly as well. I don't really like either team in this one. If I were stupid, I would call it a tie, but I'm not stupid, so I'm not going to call it a tie, so I'll just go Eagles.
I hope they tie now.
I hope they tie as well, honestly.
I'm going the Saints. They just have a better defense, so I think both offenses are kind of trash, so I'm just going to go with the Saints. Miami at the New York Jets. Miami only a 3-point favorite in this one.
Oh, my God. It's a horrible game. We didn't break the breaking news.
Breaking news.
Joe Flacco starting this game.
Joe Flacco. See, you should be scared. I asked you, are you scared that Zach Wilson's not going to have his job? You're like,
they said he's still not 100% healthy. Joe Flacco is about to get sacked like 6 times in this loss.
He's been questionable 3 weeks in a row. There's something concerning there.
Kyler's been questionable 2 weeks in a row, hasn't played.
Because he's bad.
The Dolphins are going to win this game, and I'm not going to watch.
Okay, I agree. The Dolphins are going to win. Washington at Carolina. Carolina, a 3.5-point favorite. I'll tell you this. I'm taking Carolina in this one. However, if it was 2 weeks ago, they didn't have Cam, I'd want nothing to do with them.
Yeah, that's kind of the boat I'm in. I'm going to go with Carolina as well. No Chase Young for the Washington football team. We'll see what happens with that.
Really sad.
Yeah, the defense is disappointed this year, but he's still a very talented player, so it's going to change things up. It could be a benefit. Guys might feel like they have to step up a little more. They play better as a unit, or it could be worse because they feel like they lost a huge piece and they're not going to be able to recover.
Have you seen the graveyard that is the, I think, Western 30 to end zone, like field position, I guess what I'm trying to say.
No, is that where the most injuries happen or something?
Yeah, so between the 30 and the end zone on the west side of Washington Stadium, you've got the Alex Smith injury, Chase Young, Joe Burrow, Adrian Peterson, RG3, and there was one more. Who am I forgetting? I don't know. But that's 5, and there was one more. So
that's tough.
That side of the the field is just
that's tough.
Terrible.
That is tough.
Indy at Buffalo. Buffalo, a 7-point favorite. I know this isn't going to be a unanimous pick because we got an Indy fan that is a part of these picks. Are you going to join him and go with the upset?
No.
Oh.
I'm going with the Bills. I think Indy could put up a better fight in this. I think Indy covers. I don't think this is going to be a blowout. I think this will be a pretty close game. And if Indy wins, I'm not going to be completely shocked. I'd be a little like, oh wow, they won. I think the Bills should win this one, and there's a reason that they're that kind of favorite. But I don't know. Like Jonathan Taylor is very clearly a top 3 to 5 running back in this league. He's very much proven that this year.
All right. Well, you haven't gone with any spicy picks. You've gone with all of the favorites so far. So let's get on to the next game and see if you're going to go spicy.
I'm not picking the Lions.
Detroit at Cleveland. Cleveland is a 10-point favorite.
Give them a bigger point spread, and I'll still take Cleveland in this one. Like to cover even. But yeah, Cleveland's winning this B.
I've got Cleveland as well. San Francisco at Jacksonville. San Francisco is 6-point favorite.
Jacksonville, baby. Let's go.
Okay. There he goes.
Go.
All right. I like it. Like the confidence. I'm going San Francisco. By the way,
wait. Go ahead. You first. It's fine.
I've got Garrett's picks, so if you ever want to hear them, then I can just tell you.
You picked Jacksonville for sure.
No, you went San Francisco.
Oh, what a noob. If Trey Lance starts, change to the Niners. Yes, you heard that right.
Okay. That's fine.
Is that backwards? Very much might be, but I don't care.
Houston at Tennessee. Tennessee, a 10-point favorite.
That's it.
I know, right? Especially at home.
I know that Derrick Henry's out, but the team's still looked pretty good.
To be fair, since Derrick Henry has been out, every team has outgained the Titans when it comes to yards.
Yeah, but they manage the game the right way. They
Yeah.
manage because like Vrabel manages the game the right way, and they find ways to win despite it. And unleash Deontay Foreman. He's very clearly the best running back they have there right now. Just let him run. Well, I know it's not hard competition, but he still very clearly is. Just let him run the ball 15 times a game.
Well, I think I have Adrian Peterson in one of my leagues, so I think he's the best, actually.
You see him walking out there? I don't want to even call it running. He's just walking. Then he allowed Deontay Foreman just do his thing, man. I hope so, too. I like Deontay Foreman.
If they unleash Adrian Peterson, you're going to get 2008 Adrian Peterson.
Yeah.
You just got to unleash him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
you're
what's going to
happen.
Back. That could happen.
Hey, in the Bolts broadcast, we talk about Oliver Shillington. They were holding him back. They release him, and look, he's doing great things. So do the exact same thing with Adrian Peterson. I'm calling it right now.
Okay, at that point, then someone should sign Todd Gurley as well and unleash him.
Yeah, and someone can pick up Lev Bell again. I hope the Steelers pick up Lev Bell.
Someone go get LaDainian Tomlinson while they're at it.
Let's do it. Reggie Bush, he's probably good.
Walter Payton, baby.
That's too far. All right, Green Bay at Minnesota. Green Bay, a 2-point favorite in this one.
That'll be a little bit bigger.
You lost on Minnesota last week. I've lost on Minnesota a couple of times.
Cool, I can lose on them again. I'm choosing Green Bay.
Okay. Well, that's your prerogative.
Yeah, you're also choosing Green Bay.
I am. Baltimore at Chicago. Baltimore, a 4.5-point favorite.
Well, that's it. I don't care if they're on the road. That's it.
It seems like Nagy is coaching, so that's an easy choice for me.
Yeah. If Matt Nagy got taken out of this game, I think the line would get moved to even, and we'd have to really debate here.
Mm-hmm. But that's not the case.
Nope.
Cincinnati at Las Vegas. Who's the favorite in this one?
I'm going to say Vegas is at home.
No, Cincinnati is a 1-point favorite.
So it's pretty much a pick 'em.
Yep.
Man, I want to go both ways on this one.
Oh.
I really do.
Well, here's the thing. I'll give you a breakdown. You pick the Bengals, you're going to make Landon really upset. Like, probably in tears. You pick the Vegas Raiders, I'm going to be in tears. right here live on the show.
I don't want to see you cry, but I also haven't picked against the Bengals all year.
So that means you're 5-4?
Yeah. Am I ready to do it? If they get me to 5-5, I'm going to start choosing against them. Go Bengals.
Okay. I'm going the Bengals as well for this one.
Homer.
There's times when I don't want to pick them, like against the Steelers, like against the Ravens. They're better than the Raiders.
They should be.
Arizona at Seattle. Arizona only a 2.5-point favorite. Then again, Kyler's still up in the air, but I think it's very likely he plays this week.
The Kyler stipulation, if he plays Cardinals, if not Seahawks.
He has been practicing, so.
Yeah. But if Kyler plays, I think it'll be an easy win.
Here's one that I think could be highly contested. You've got the Dallas Cowboys going to Kansas City to play the Chiefs. The Chiefs are a 2.5-point favorite.
I think I'm going to go Cowboys in this one.
Okay.
I don't love it because this one is, I really don't love either way because it's two good teams. I don't want to choose against the other. But I don't know. I think the Chiefs defense has been a little bit better, but still not great. And you've got Dak and 3 great receiving weapons, 2 great running backs, and a tight end who's playing really well on top of one of the better O-lines across the league. They've got everything they need to go and put up 35 points. Just you got to keep the Chiefs under, that 35 mark as well, which is doable because the Cowboys defense is good enough to do it.
Yeah, it's a really tough matchup for me because 2 weeks ago, Dallas loses by 2 scores to Denver. Last week, they come out and absolutely obliterate the Falcons. And you have the Chiefs, who have struggled all year, but recently have gotten a little bit better. Last year, they had their best game of the season. Which way do I go? Best week, sorry. I'm going to go Kansas City. I don't know why. I'm in the same boat as you. Don't feel great. That's where I'm going to go, though.
I think we're going to be half and half as a group in this one. I truly think that I'm going to get 2 other people picking with me and 2 other people picking with you.
Right now, when you look at Vegas, including, it is half and half. You and Garrett are Dallas. Me and Vegas are Kansas City.
There you go.
The Sunday night game, you have Pittsburgh going to Los Angeles to play the Chargers. The Chargers are a 5.5-point favorite.
Steelers have no chance to win this game. Steelers have no chance to compete in this game. Mason Rudolph's going to play again. You can get away.
That is probably fair.
You can get away throwing 50 passes against the Lions. They're not going to be able to throw 50 passes against the Chargers and have success.
Yeah, that's probably fair. I do have the Chargers, to be fair, but I was going to try to make an argument that, hey, they struggled against Philly. They got blown out by New England. They got blown out by, not blown out, but they lost to Minnesota recently. Like, the Chargers have not looked good. But if Pittsburgh has Mason Rudolph, that's an obvious choice.
You're in a bad spot when you're clearly worse than 87-year-old Ben Roethlisberger. And Mason Rudolph is clearly worse than him.
Mm-hmm. All right, Tampa Bay and the Giants. This one is being played down in Tampa Bay for the Monday night game. Tampa, a 11-point favorite.
That's too high of a spread for a Monday night game. Like, that should never be like that. Bucks, of course.
Yep. All right. That's it for our picks.
Not bad.
I didn't go over.
No, you don't have to. I was just trying to not even worry about that.
The big Week 10 shakeup. So when it came to Week 9, how that ended was Chase in first place by 3 spots. He had a 3-game lead over everyone else in the competition. That really changed this week because Chase went 5-9. Garrett went 4-10. Johnny and I led the pack at 8-6. Graham 6-8. Chris 7-7. But that now puts Johnny and Chase tied for first. Chase has all but lost his lead. And then you have me and Graham in second, only 1 game back. Chris in third, 2 games back. Garrett, he has fallen far behind because of the 4-10 performance. He is now 87-63. Chase has 91, so that would put him 4 games back. So, how you feeling? I mean, we talked about it a couple of times. All you got to do is maintain your lead. This was not the week to do it.
Feeling not great. Gotta figure out a way to figure it out here. Hopefully I just go 14-0 this week. However many buys are, I don't remember. 15-0. Hopefully I go 15-0 this week. But obviously, that's a stretch. But I would definitely like to regain my lead, and I feel pretty good overall. And then maybe one of my picks this week is a little bit iffy. Mm-hmm. So it could happen. We'll see. I've also felt that way the last few weeks, and things haven't gone so well because the NFL's been funky. But I'm gonna believe the process. I'm gonna say that I know more than you guys, and I will continue to succeed.
All right, and it's not a bad place to be in, tied for first. Even though it is human psychology to think hey, I have the lead, now I'm no longer in sole lead. That does not feel good. But at the same time, you're still tied for first. You can continue to move up or continue to move down. And I'll be making my way right on up there. All right, well, that's going to do it for the show. Any final words to the lovely people?
Final words.
You didn't want to curse out Graham or something?
Curse out Graham or something.
All right. That's going to do it for the show. We want to thank you so much for coming out and giving us a listen. If you want to stay up to date with all that we do, you can follow us on Twitter at WNP Sports Pod. That's again on Twitter at WNP Sports Pod. We also have a Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok that you can follow as well. Those links will be down in the description below. If you're listening or if you're watching, I should say, on YouTube, if you could please give us a like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell to turn on notifications. Go ahead down there in the comments. Let us know what coaches you think are on the hottest seat of them all in the NFL right now. We'd love to know. If you're listening on a podcast platform, if you could please give us a 5-star rating and a follow, we would really appreciate that. That's going to do it for the show. We want to thank you so much for coming out. And as always, we're not professionals.